It would seem that Christmas came early this year for me and all of the Arkane Outsiders community. At this year's Game Awards show, Arkane Studios, or more specifically, the team in Lyon who most recently gave us Deathloop, announced their next project. And I think it's safe to say no one saw this coming.
Night's just getting started.
Hey yo, what the
I should say almost no one saw this coming, because I actually was made aware of this game by a fellow Arkane fan who pointed me to a Reset-era forum post where someone claimed that Marvel's Blade would be announced at the Game Awards. And not only that, but Arkane Lyon would be the ones developing the title. To say I highly doubted this would be an understatement. I never in a million years would have pictured Arkane Studios, my favorite developers of all time, tackling a licensed IP as one of their future projects, let alone an IP more popular or beloved than Marvel. I also, rather selfishly, believed that Arkane are at their best when they are crafting their own unique game worlds, and frankly, I did not want them to ever do a licensed game. However, upon seeing Dinga Bakaba, studio and creative director at Arkane Lyon, take the stage at the Game Awards and pour out so much visible passion and enthusiasm for this game, I couldn't help but allow my initially mixed feelings to turn into acceptance and, more importantly, excitement. As the more time I have had to think about it, the more I have begun to realize that this is a genuinely incredible combination of talent. I will admit, Blade is a character that I have almost no familiarity with outside of the films from the early 2000s starring Wesley Snipes. Films I have never actually seen, but now I will have to watch in order to brush up on my knowledge of the character before the game's release. All I know is that he is half human, half vampire, and he uses a wide variety of tools and abilities to slay as many bloodsuckers as he can. Let's actually talk though about what this game is going to center around. A Bethesda.net blog post accompanied the announcement of Blade, and it contains, albeit very limited, information surrounding the setting, story, and gameplay of Blade, with quotes from Dinga Bakaba, as well as from the VP and creative director of Marvel Games Bill Roseman, and Sebastian Mitton, art director and co-creative director at Arkane Lyon. Bethesda Softworks and Marvel Games have announced that Arkane Lyon, creators of the critically acclaimed and award-winning Deathloop and Dishonored series, are creating a new, mature, single-player, third-person game based on the comic book hero Blade. In honor of Blade's 50th anniversary, we have found the perfect match for the Daywalker in Arkane Lyon, a studio of uncompromising artists who continually push the boundaries of game design and innovation, said Bill Roseman, VP and creative director of Marvel Games. In addition to their award-winning talent, it's their personal passion and bold vision for our half-human, half-vampire iconoclast that makes this collaboration a perfect fit. Arkane Lyon have just begun development on the game, which will feature an original story with the studio's signature immersive gameplay and world-class narrative. As a kid of mixed origins, I felt a special connection to Blade, a hero with a dual heritage himself, said Dinga Bakaba, game director Arkane Lyon. The opportunity to put our spin on this character is a dream of mine and a challenge that our team embraces with a passion. We couldn't be happier to put players in Blade's boots, as he becomes the champion of my hometown of Paris, one stake at a time. Marvel's Blade game will take players to a quarantined section of Paris in the middle of a supernatural emergency. Vampires have emerged, terrorizing the City of Lights and forcing Parisians to shelter inside their homes at night to wait for sunrise. From his trench coat to his iconic sunglasses, Blade is a slick, stylish, and driven character, said Sebastian Mitton, co-creative and art director at Arkane Lyon. This project is the perfect opportunity to push Arkane's art style into an even more modern and bold territory. The essence of our work lives at the junction of impactful ideas and innovative know-how. So there's actually a lot of important takeaways from this announcement. Firstly, Blade will be a third-person action game as opposed to the first-person perspective that we have become so accustomed to from Arkane Studios. The shift from first to third person doesn't really worry me, and honestly, it would be very strange to have a Blade game be entirely in first person where there's no way for you to admire his badass trench coat. From a technical standpoint, the gameplay, level design, and exploration present in Blade will be different from anything we've ever seen from Arkane up to this point, all accounting for that huge perspective shift. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it all meshes together. Secondly, Paris, France is the setting for the game, and this is awesome to see Arkane tackle a setting that is so close to home, or rather, is their home. The last time the dev team tried setting one of their titles in Paris was with the intriguing PvPvE game called The Crossing, which ultimately was cancelled and never saw the light of day. It's really cool though to see that lineage live on in their newest project, and I for one cannot wait to see what this quarantined section of the City of Lights has to offer. The actual setting itself will no doubt be immaculately designed to allow for multiple avenues of traversal: streets, back alleys, rooftops, maybe even the infamous catacombs underneath the city. The Dishonored vibes will be very strong with Blade, I can tell you that much. Thirdly, Blade has only just begun its development cycle, but I personally feel that this is actually a bit misleading. I believe the team in Lyon have been working on this project for longer than you might think. Deathloop, their previous game, released in September of 2021 and then was eventually re-released the following year of 2022 on Xbox platforms and Game Pass, with additional game content added for good measure. Surely that wasn't the only thing they did over the past 2 years. No, I think they were actually in pre-production on Blade throughout the majority of last year and this current year, working on concepting and prototyping the vision they had in mind for the game before ultimately settling on what it will look like when all of the design elements mix together in the boiling pot. Despite this though, Blade is still a few more years off, and we shouldn't see this game release until either late 2025, coincidentally to coincide with the release of the Blade film set in the MCU, or early to mid 2026 at the latest. Lastly, Blade will focus on an entirely original narrative within this pocket of the larger Marvel universe. I'm certain they're taking many inspirations from several different storylines from the comic books, but I'm happy knowing that they aren't creating a one-to-one adaptation. It gives me similar feelings to when Rocksteady created the Batman Arkham series, where the storyline was entirely original, but took many important aspects of the Batman mythology and made its own incredible narrative while still drawing from the well of influence that are the comic storylines. I also don't expect Blade to force any sort of unnecessary cameos into the game, such as Spider-Man or the Avengers. Rather, once again, much like the Arkham series, there will be many references and Easter eggs that eagle-eyed players like myself will no doubt discover that hint at Blade's connection to the larger Marvel pantheon. Ultimately, Blade's story will be the main and primary focus, which is for the best, and knowing Arkane and their narrative team, they wouldn't want to be bogged down by needless fan service by inserting, for example, Captain America into the storyline without good cause. As I wrap up my thoughts and reaction to Arkane's Blade, I want to also funnily mention that I retweeted a post concerning the rebooted Blade film taking place in the MCU about a month ago, and Dinga actually liked that tweet, which I thought nothing of at the time, but I now realize was a sly hint at what the team in Lyon were working on behind the curtain. Going back to the Game Awards and Dinga being present on stage to reveal the game, I had a huge smile on my face watching this man pour out his heart and soul to everyone, as well as delivering an awesome kick to the camera, and it gave me such an immense feeling of love and appreciation for Arkane Arkane and the work that they do. I've retweeted many of the development team's posts about Blade, and they all share the same message. Arkane are just as passionate and excited about working on Blade as they have been on any of their prior games. So as a result, my message to the wider Arkane Outsiders community is simple and echoes much of what Dinga stated while on stage. Let these incredibly talented people cook on this game, and let's try not to worry about them losing any of their immersive sim design roots, because I have every confidence at this point that Blade will be another amazing game from Arkane Studios. To Dinga Bakaba, Sebastian Miton, Dana Nightingale, and the entire amazing team in Lyon, if you end up watching this video, I just want to give a sincere congratulations on the reveal of the game, and I for one cannot wait to play it. So this is my raw reaction and thoughts on Arkane Studios' newest game, but now, and more importantly, I want to know what you think in the comments down below. Did the announcement of a Blade game from Arkane catch you by surprise? Were you expecting this to be revealed based on prior leaks and rumors? How do you ultimately feel about this being the studio's next project? Sound off and let's start a discussion. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like on the video and share it with everyone you can. Consider subscribing to the channel for even more content on Marvel's Blade in the future, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you always know when my newest upload is available. And remember,
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
wait, no, that's not right. Remember that the outsider walks among us. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.